Hey, good morning. How are you all today? Are you recovering from the great internet outage? Well, maybe not. They say it's going to take a while, right? That's what I want to talk about. I didn't make one of this yesterday. I was just too busy. I think I put one out, but I wanted to get around to this because I had somebody call me and give me some personal information on it. By the way, Sam over on Patreon, I sent you an email. Thank you so much. Looking forward to getting back the information that you're sending to Aiden, and so is he. Uh, got up yesterday morning, and one of the first things that I saw was a text from a friend of mine, a guy I used to work with, a guy is like one of my brothers. I don't use the term brother lightly, but he is one. And we worked on the security at a major hospital system for many, many years. And so I got this text from him. He says, "Can I call you? You won't believe the chaos in the hospital last night." And so I did, and I hadn't really had a chance to read anything, and I still haven't gotten into the weeds, to be honest. I haven't gotten into the weeds of this IT outage. I know that it was global. It was apparently associated with mainly Windows, and I'm looking forward, by the way, when I put this up, to Mike Hoskins on Patreon. I guess that's the second time I mentioned, guys. If you're not with us on Patreon, if you're watching this on YouTube, great to have you. But I invite you over to the Patreon channel. The link is down below because we really have some exceptional people over there. We have a lot of subject experts over there that are beyond what I know, and it is well worth your buck a month or whatever you decide to come over there and learn more. Because if you're serious about preparedness, you want real information from as wide a variety of sources as possible. And I learn a lot on Patreon. So if you'd like to join us over there, the link is down below. But Mike Hoskins, who is that's his profession is IT and AI and things like that. I learned so much from Mike, so I'm looking forward to hearing what Mike has to tell me about this. I know what he's going to say to begin with. He says, "Get off of Windows." That's what he's going to say. Get to Linux, or at least to Apple. Okay, so I know that, but I'm looking for. I need your advice, Mike, and so does everybody else. Um, so I see that it has, apparently it's a Windows, a Microsoft, should I say, a Microsoft situation. It's global. It's hitting everything in the world. It's hitting the airlines. It's hitting bank systems. It's hitting hospital systems. It's hitting government systems everywhere. Now, I wasn't affected at all because, uh, well, for some reason, it didn't affect what I was doing. So I'm not sure of the particulars, but didn't affect me much. But it affected a lot of people, and I know that the monetary hit of this is going to be in the billions, right? Um, and at CrowdStrike, the company that apparently is the one that now I'm getting dangerously close to the edge of to the limit of my of my IT knowledge here, but CrowdStrike is the one who apparently runs a lot of the IT security. And, jump all over me if I'm wrong on that, but for this, and they have said that uh, it wasn't a hack, it wasn't a cyber attack, but uh, it was something else, something a bit of a wrong code in I don't know whether it was an update or a patch or something like that. Let me get back to that in just a second, and I want to tell you what my buddy told me about the hospital. He said when it hit, they weren't able to get into the med rooms. They weren't able to get into into any of the medications. He said that uh, an entire part of the hospital, the rehabilitation unit, where there are a lot of problems for security and other, uh, it's badge accessed, and they were not able to access the entire rehabilitation unit, which is almost half of this hospital that he works at, and it's the same one I worked at, and it's huge, and it keeps security and everybody busy over there. They weren't able to get in there. Um, it was just, I mean, he said it was chaos, and nobody knew what to do. Here's the thing. Uh, they run drills all the time, right? Um, and when they run drills, or when they have classes and updating things like this, you always have a person getting up there who's very serious about it, and acts like they know what they're talking about, and 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 then when something happens, it's like nobody learned anything, right? And I made statements a number of times, when I'd attend some of these training things, and then I'd talk to the CEO or whoever later, and I said, your training. I mean, I get it. A lot of the training is done as kind of a defensive, training, so that when something happens, they can say, well, we provided the training, right? We provided the training. It's not our fault. Don't sue us. And I said the problem is, and I told them this repeatedly. The problem is the people running many of these departments, not the IT. I mean, the IT; those are guys with actual experience in what they're doing. But in the other areas, be it security, or be it whatever it is, they don't really have experience in dealing with chaotic emergencies. Um, and when well, I'm not going to get. I could go off on a whole nother road here on supervisory, ranks and things like that. But I said, what's going to happen is when you have a real an emergency, uh, experience is going to trump rank and supervision, and so when you try to lay out all of these response sequences to people without experience, they're not going to hang on to it. It's not going to be right there. I mean, unless they are training, unless their life is training, unless they're training on this every day, uh, intermittent training without daily application, you're not going to get the results and the benefits that you hope to. Simple as that. And so I would I told them repeatedly, if you have a real problem, it's the experienced people that are going to step forward and do it, not necessarily the people who are the so-called, supervisors or managers or things like this. And that's exactly what my friend told me. They saw last night, is that nobody knew what they were doing. Nobody, and he had to step up and do quite a bit. But the chaos that ensued, that you can imagine people not being able to get their meds. What if they can't get their pain meds? What if they can't get their psych meds? Now you have some real problems. What if somebody and I don't think there was anybody in this particular hospital that was in the middle of surgery, but I'm sure that there were people in surgery all over the country, all over the world, really. I mean, I guess this hit Europe, this hit Australia. I haven't taken a close look at what countries it really did. I'd be interested in that, but whether it just hit the West, right? Did it not hit certain areas that are our global adversaries? I'd be interested to know that. But he said it was chaos, and I happened to run into. He said it wasn't even close to being fixed by the time he ended shift at 8 o'clock in the morning, and and I just happened yesterday. I was down at Home Depot, and I ran into a guy that I hadn't seen since I left the hospital system, and he's the guy who is in charge of facilities. And it's amazing how these things happen, right? And so we got to talking, and I said, "Man, I heard you had a problem last night." He says, "Oh, gee," he says, it's unbelievable." Of course, he's working closely with the IT department, and he says they tell us it's going to take weeks to get this fixed. He says the whole hospital is. I won't say that the whole hospital is down, but the whole hospital is running at a substandard level. And just imagine if you are needing uh, interventional medical care. Um, I would not feel comfortable at this time. So, like I say, I'm sure that there are people all across the country that were in the middle of surgical procedures, and what happened to them, I don't know. I don't know that we'll ever know, because they will see, they cover this stuff up because of liability. Anyway, getting back to this what CrowdStrike has said. Uh, they say it wasn't a cyber attack. It wasn't a hack. It was just some lines of code. Mike, over on Patreon, bring us up to speed on this if you would. So it's just some wrong code or something in an update or a patch, or I don't know. And that they said it will take weeks to fix it. That leaves me, of course, and I don't claim to know a darn thing about IT. I mean, talking to you and my phone, I have reached the extent of my technical abilities, but weeks. Now, but here is my question. It's kind of like when they say, well, it wasn't a hack, it wasn't a this, it wasn't a that, but it's going to take weeks to fix. I'm under the impression that when you're dealing with IT and things like that, and I mean, I've been there. When there have been IT problems, and it might take them a little bit of time to identify, track down the problem, but then when they do, bam, it's fixed. And I could be all wrong on that, but if it's going to take weeks for them to fix, which probably means it's going to take longer than that, because I imagine they're being a little bit optimistic in this, because they're also thinking about liability. I don't know. Is it going to take longer? I don't know. I probably shouldn't go there with that. But here's the thing. It's kind of like the Trump assassination attempt, right? Or anything else. Okay, we don't know who it was, or we have somebody in custody and there is no further danger to the public. How do you know? How do you know? You see, they're always coming out. The authorities are always coming out and making these ridiculous statements. But there's no further. We've done this, and there's no further danger to the public. You don't know. You don't know. Well, this is kind of what my thought is here. And when they say that it wasn't a hack, or when they say that it wasn't a cyber attack, cyber attack, I think there's a lot of different things that can be, included in that. One of which is it's sabotage. Okay, now when you get to who uploaded this code, who wrote this code, who wrote this wrong code, apparently, I love it, talking as if I know. Just by saying code, I sound smart, right? Somebody back there says, you never sound smart. I always get one guy. But, you get things done by getting to people. I just started my 8th book, and this is where you may think that systems are complex. It doesn't matter whether it's a political system, a computer system, whatever. They seem complex if you're operating according to the way the system is supposed to work. But the weak part of any system is people. And getting to people, getting to a right person who can screw up the system, who can throw the shoe in the machinery. That's where the word sabotage comes from. That's not difficult. That's not difficult. You find somebody, I don't care whether you are you Iranian intelligence, Chinese intelligence, Russian intelligence, Saudi intelligence, whatever, and you want to throw a shoe in the IT machinery of the Western world, you find somebody, and it's not difficult to do if you got enough time and money. You find somebody who who works for, say, CrowdStrike, and who is responsible for developing or uploading code, patches, updates, whatever. And you find out maybe they have a problem. Maybe they have whatever. They're probably making $150,000 a year, right? And which is nothing in the IT world. I mean, it's a lot for a lot of people, but in IT, they make good money. But you offer him $1 million, or her $1 million, and you say, how would you like, or more, 5 million? I mean, when you're dealing at that level, they don't care, because, like I said, the damage on this is going to be billions of dollars, and the chaos that people are dealing with. This is going to go continue and continue. So you offer the guy, I don't care, you can offer him $10 million. At what point you offer him what it takes? Okay, what's the guy's price? And not everybody can be bought for money. Everybody can be influenced. I will say that, and that's kind of what my new book is about. Everybody can be influenced if you know the thing that it takes to influence them. But many people can be bought, and when you got a person that's making 150 grand a year, and you offer him $10 million, what are they? And they say, and he starts to think, I can do this, and it's going to be written off to a mistake. And I got 10 million, in the Caymans, or someplace where you can access it, Bitcoin, whatever. I heard that there's new legislation coming down on Bitcoin, and Trump has come out, I think. Did he come out kind of supporting Bitcoin? I don't know. Okay, scratch that. I'm going to look into it more before I say anything about that. And he says, yeah, think about all the things I can do with $10 million. Yeah, and I can write this code, and it will screw up everything, and and I'll just be able to say, oh man, I can't believe I made that mistake, and they might fire me from my $150,000 a year job. I have 10 million. What do I care, right? That's the first thing that I think about. But anyway, getting to the situation of how this affects us and preparedness, the extent to which you are prepared is the extent to where this didn't bother you. Now, it doesn't matter where you live. You could live, in the country. You could live in the city. It doesn't matter. It's all a matter of being prepared for the things that might happen. And if you, cash on hand, everything that you need at home, if this thing goes on for a month, unless it hits things like your utilities and things like that, but then that's part of preparedness. You need to have those things that allow you to continue to live your life pretty much as close to normal as possible, no matter what happens. And this is one of those perfect examples of one of the many things that could happen. Now, if this was sabotage, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we see more of these things happen. Even if it wasn't sabotage, I think a lot of these things are coming because of the political season that we're in. So, we will see, right? But just the latest example of why it's important to be prepared, to be self-sufficient, to be as independent from the systems as you can be. And then you can just go along your merry way. A lot of government employees that I heard, were sent home. Were sent home because nothing was working. There wasn't anything for them to do, and they had a nice little party, saying, "Hey, we're going. Don't have to work. Still getting money." Much like many government employees do now. So anyway, we will see what happens. We'll never know. I mean, this is my suspicion because I'm a suspicious person. And my suspicion is that it was some kind of sabotage. But whether it was or not, we'll never know. They'll come up with, oh, yeah, okay, everything's back online and everything's fine, everything's fixed, and we're sorry for the inconvenience. We're sorry for the people that died on the operating table. Blah, blah, blah. But the lesson for us is, don't be dependent on the systems, right? And that kind of does go back to when we're talking about the people in the hospital. That goes back to keeping yourself as healthy as you can be. Remember that is one of your most important preps, is your health. Okay. All right. Hey, I didn't even mention, by the way, the new book is out. Those of you who've been waiting, you've heard me say this before, but the new book on Wings Like Eagles is out, is now available on Amazon. The link is down below, and also through our website. And I'm still sitting in my dungeon, signing books, getting out all the orders that have come in for the last month and a half. So, man, I mean, I am working my way through it. You can get them if you want my books, and if you haven't read them, you should, because they are the complete plan to being able to prepare for, survive, and rebuild after a total collapse of everything. It's the Stone Mount series. If you haven't read them, I suggest that you do. It's the next greatest step you can take in your preparedness journey. You can get it through Amazon, and the link, like I say, is down below. They get them to you quickly, or you can get them from me directly through our website, stonemont.us. I don't get them to you nearly as quickly because I keep running out, or then like when we offered the pre-order, I don't know how many orders we've got. It's blowing my mind, and it just takes me time to get through there. And they shipped them. We did get our shipment this week, so I'm working my way through. But I sign each one, I write a message in each one, I pack each one up, we address them, and then it just takes a long time. But you can get them. You can either get the single copies, or you can get the whole set: the reversion, the revival, the renewal, on appeal to heaven, the blessings of freedom, the hostages to fortune, and on Wings Like Eagles. Was that all? And on the website, there's a one-click option for the whole set, and when you do that, and that is a nice discount when you do that, and you also get the Stone Mount notebook. So do that if you would like. They are now available, and I'm working my way through all the orders. So, as we always say, it's on this. I don't have the cup with it on it. The one, but always, as we always say, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Use this as a drill. Use this as an example of what can happen, and if you've been affected by this, see how you can, mitigate that in the future. And it should show you some holes in your preparedness. If not, great. Either you getting through it through good preparedness or by luck, and don't let luck be the thing that gets you through the next one, right? Okay. Get out there and do something. Prepare well today, because you're going to live as well tomorrow as you prepare to. And we'll keep an eye on this, see what happens. Like I said, we'll probably never know, but who knows? It's something to keep in mind, and I am looking forward to Mike's answer to us over on Patreon. Again, if you're not with us on Patreon, that link is down below. It's well worth your time and money. Okay? You all have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.